If humans tried today with every modern tool, every crane, every diesel engine, every cable, pulley, and hydraulic press at our disposal, there is a stone on this planet we still couldn't move, and someone moved it thousands of years ago. The stone sits in Lebanon, in the ancient city of Baalbek, and it isn't a myth, it isn't exaggerated, it isn't lost technology in the poetic sense. It is a literal engineering impossibility, sitting right out in the open, as if waiting for us to finally admit we have no idea how it got there. The stone of the pregnant woman. The stone so large that engineers today, modern, credentialed, and uncomfortably honest, say the same thing. We can't move it. Not now. Not without rethinking everything we understand about weight, friction, leverage, and ancient capability. And yet, someone did. Long before Rome. Long before written engineering manuals. Long before iron pulleys, precision cranes, steel cables, industrial bearings, counterweight math, or computer modeling. Someone quarried, shaped, and transported stones weighing more than a fully loaded Boeing 747 using tools that officially did not exist. And when you ask mainstream historians who someone was, the answers they give are confident, until you ask for the details. That is when the confidence fades into vague language, passive voice, and the one phrase you hear more often than any other: we don't actually know. Tonight on Halt Videos, we're digging into the mystery of Baalbek, one of the most perplexing, impossible archaeological sites in the world. A site so old that its earliest layers disappear into prehistory. A site that refuses to match the tools of its supposed builders. A site where the story gets stranger the deeper you go. What we find here doesn't challenge one ancient civilization. It challenges the timeline itself. Because Baalbek is not just old, it is out of place, out of scale, and out of explanation. And once you see what's actually sitting there, you'll understand why engineers quietly shake their heads, why archaeologists debate in circles, and why fringe theorists say Baalbek is the fingerprint of a forgotten chapter of human history. Let's start at the beginning, because even the beginning is wrong. Baalbek today is a fusion of layers. Roman temples on top, Hellenistic features below that, a foundation beneath that, and then something older, something carved with a precision and magnitude no known ancient culture ever used in this region, something that predates the empires built above it. That lowest level is where the real story starts. The Roman Empire, in all its glory, built massive temples, Jupiter, Bacchus, Venus, right on top of something they found already there. The Romans were brilliant engineers. They conquered continents. They built aqueducts that still stand, roads that still function, and monuments so perfect they last 2,000 years. But when Roman architects arrived at Baalbek, they didn't move the foundation stones. They didn't reshape them. They didn't attempt to replicate them. They simply built on top of them. That is not Roman behavior. Rome liked to rebuild, restructure, reshape, impose its style, and show that it had mastered what came before. But at Baalbek, Rome deferred, which raises a question. What did they find that even Rome wouldn't touch? To understand that, we need to talk about something called the Trilithon, 3 stones forming a platform wall. Each stone weighs around 800 to 1,000 tons. Each one is so perfectly squared, leveled, and placed that you can't slide a sheet of paper between them. Remember, a fully loaded diesel locomotive weighs about 400 tons. One of the Baalbek Trilithon stones weighs twice that and was lifted into place without cranes, without engines, without industrial steel.
Archaeologists, when pressed, sometimes give an answer like this. They used rollers, ropes, and manpower. But then you ask the follow-up question.
How many men? What kind of ropes? What kind of rollers sustain that pressure without breaking? Where's the evidence of the infrastructure to support that kind of labor force? And suddenly the explanations get very quiet. Because here's the truth. The strongest organic ropes in the ancient world snap at around 20-30 tons of effective lift. Wooden rollers crush under around 10-15 tons unless reinforced. And traction alone cannot overcome the friction generated by a 1,000-ton stone sliding against earth. It's not that the ancient world couldn't do great things. They absolutely could. But the math for Baalbek's foundation stones does not favor muscle, ropes, or wood. The engineering simply does not match the tools. At least not the tools we know about. But then there's the quarry. The quarry at Baalbek sits about a quarter-mile from the main site. Inside it rests a stone that dwarfs all others, the stone of the pregnant woman, a single block weighing more than 1,000 tons. And that's the conservative estimate. Some estimates push it to 1 by 200 or even 1/300 tons. But just when historians were beginning to settle into a comfortable explanation, something new was found. Another stone, bigger, heavier, more impossibly carved, buried under soil until around 2014. The largest carved stone block ever discovered on Earth. This second block weighs somewhere around 1,650 tons, nearly twice the weight of the largest stone at the Great Pyramid. And someone carved it out with smooth, precise sides. Someone lifted it. Someone planned to move it. Except, why didn't they? Why carve a stone that large if you couldn't move it? Some say it cracked, making it unusable. Others say it proved too heavy to transport. But the real mystery is far stranger. If they couldn't move it, why did they carve one even bigger? This is where the story of Baalbek becomes a story of confidence. Whoever worked this quarry understood this material. They knew their tools, they knew their limits, and their limits were far beyond ours. So far beyond ours that even modern engineers hesitate to replicate it. Take a 1,000,000-pound block of limestone. Ask a modern construction team to carve it, shape it, transport it downhill, pivot it around obstacles, and slide it into a perfectly level foundation. They will give you a long list of required equipment. Cranes, winches, specialized trucks, reinforced pads, carbon fiber cables, and maybe even temporary rail lines. Then remember, the Romans didn't have any of that, and whoever built the foundation came long before Rome. So what does the mainstream say? The dominant explanation is that the foundation was constructed by Roman engineers using exceptional manpower and clever mechanical advantage. But then you look at Roman writings, you look at Vitruvius, you look at Roman machine manuals, you look at their cranes, the treadmill crane, the polyspastos, and you realize a Roman crane maxed out at around 7 tons. Even a complex Roman lifting system could reach maybe 20-30 tons with multiple cranes working in tandem. Not 800, not 1,000, not 1,650. So if Rome didn't lift the stones, and we can't lift the stones, who did? This is where the trail goes cold for archaeology and hot for speculation. Some historians suggest the stones were lifted with earthen ramps. But a ramp capable of supporting a 1,000-ton block would need to be enormous, larger than any structure at the site. And ramps leave evidence, residual soil layers, construction remains, discarded material, anchor points. Baalbek shows none of those. Others suggest the stones were rolled on logs, but logs under that amount of weight flatten instantly. The compressive force of 1,000 tons on wood turns hardwood into pulp with one movement. Still others suggest the stones were dragged with ropes, but the tensile strength of ancient rope simply cannot handle the load. So what's left? Some say the foundation stones were part of an earlier culture, something pre-Roman, pre-Hellenistic, possibly even pre-Bronze Age, a civilization that used megalithic construction on a scale we rarely see. Göbekli Tepe, Saksai Huaman, and a few other scattered sites share this massive stone signature. In this interpretation, Rome did what many later civilizations did. They found greatness and built on top of it. But this raises yet another question. If a pre-Roman culture built the Trilithon, where is the rest of their architecture? Where are their tools? Where are their records? Why does Baalbek stand alone, like a message without an author? There is a pattern among ancient sites of extreme antiquity. Sites like Pumapunku, Göbekli Tepe, and other megalithic foundations show a mix of precise stone shaping, massive weight, and an absence of explanatory context. You see strange leveling methods, perfect interlocking stones, and tools that seem to exceed their time. Yet at Baalbek, the scale is bigger than all of them. Let's talk precision. The Baalbek Trilithon stones aren't just massive, they're aligned perfectly, placed so flush that even earthquakes haven't shifted them. Lebanon is a region prone to seismic activity. Baalbek has been shaken many times over the centuries, and yet the foundation stones remain locked in place like pieces of a single unit. How do you move a 1,000-ton stone precisely into place? How do you level it? How do you pull another one up beside it so perfectly that the seam disappears? Engineering today requires laser leveling systems, precision measurement tools, hydraulic stabilizers, micro-adjustment machinery. Ancients had none of that, or at least none that survived. And yet, they achieved machine-level precision with stones weighing more than modern tanks. But there is another mystery beneath the mystery: the orientation. The site is aligned to celestial markers, similar to other ancient complexes, but not aligned to Roman markers, not aligned to Hellenistic markers, not aligned to the timelines associated with those cultures, meaning the oldest part of Baalbek was aligned by someone else. But to what? And when? Some researchers have suggested the alignment matches a sky thousands of years older than Rome. Others say the alignment drifts so far back that it approaches the end of the last ice age. If true, that pushes the builders into a time period where humans were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers. No cities, no megaliths, no stones weighing 1,000 tons. And yet, here we are. So the question returns: who built Baalbek's foundation? Let's explore the known theories. Theory 1. The Romans did it. This is the mainstream view. But the Romans left detailed records of their major construction works: the Colosseum, aqueducts, great bridges, monuments, harbors. Everything was documented. But Baalbek's foundation? Nothing. Theory 2. A pre-Roman civilization. A culture older than history, building in megalithic style. This fits Baalbek's shape better. But then we're forced to answer the next question: where did they go? Theory 3. An unknown culture, now lost. This is gaining popularity. Not fringe, not supernatural, just missing. A culture erased by time, cataclysm, or migration. Something comparable to the world that built Göbekli Tepe and then vanished. Theory 4. Mythology holds a clue. In ancient myth, Baalbek was the home of Baal, an ancient storm god. Later traditions say giants built it. Folk stories say supernatural beings lifted the stones. These stories are symbolic, sure, but they may reflect a memory of something impressive enough to feel supernatural. Or maybe they're just stories. Now let's go deeper into the part archaeologists don't like discussing. In the 1800s and early 1900s, explorers recorded details about Baalbek's stones that modern reports sometimes omit. Strange erosion patterns, tool marks that seem too uniform, precise cornering that suggests something more than chisels and pounding stones. Earlier researchers documented seams so perfect you could run a fingernail across them and feel nothing. Later reports sometimes downplay that, not because it's false, it's simply not explained. So they focus on the later Roman structures where the story is easier, but the mystery remains below. Let's return to the quarry for a moment. The massive stones at Baalbek were quarried from limestone. The shaping is so smooth and consistent that it appears machine-guided. But machine-guided carving leaves patterns, rotational striations, consistent bite depths. Ancient chisels leave impact marks, uneven patterns, flaking. The Baalbek blocks show something in between. Too clean for chisels, too irregular for machines. Something that suggests a method we don't fully understand. But here's the detail that archaeologists quietly admit is the strangest. The giant stones were not carved in isolation. They were carved with connecting surfaces that anticipate the next stones, like puzzle pieces. Meaning the builders weren't just carving blocks. They were carving a system. And they were carving it with confidence. Let's talk logistics. To move a 1,000-ton stone, you need traction. A lot of traction. Even if you had infinite workers, their combined force can only do so much because the stone's friction against earth opposes them. To reduce friction, you need lubrication, water, oil, clay. But a stone that size generates enormous pressure that dries, crushes, or disperses those materials instantly. You also need coordination, hundreds or thousands of workers pulling in perfect unison. But ancient manpower alone cannot overcome the physics barrier here, so maybe they use sledges. A sledge is a wooden platform that the stone rests on. But wood under that kind of pressure fails, it shears, it splits, it burns from compression. This is why engineers today shake their heads. It's not about imagination, it's about physics. Some have proposed that the stones were never moved, that the foundation stones were carved in place, but the geology says otherwise. The limestone used for the foundation is from the quarry a quarter-mile away. The match is exact. So they were carved, then moved, then lifted, then placed, then aligned, then locked into a stable formation that survived earthquakes. We are running out of ancient explanations that fit. Now let's talk silence. When a mystery gets too big, the conversation often goes silent. People stop asking questions because every answer creates more problems. Baalbek is a perfect example. Engineers defer to archaeologists. Archaeologists defer to tradition. Tradition defers to myth. And myth defers to gods. But the stones remain. So let's move toward the fringe, but stay grounded. Some fringe groups suggest ancient civilizations possess techniques now lost. Not lasers or UFO beams or mystical levitation, but knowledge. Knowledge of weight distribution, leverage amplification, harmonic stone manipulation, or advanced scaffolding systems. Not impossible, just forgotten. Others propose that ancient builders understood geology and stone density in ways we don't. Maybe they used a lubrication method that hasn't survived. Maybe they used controlled fire and water to reshape terrain. Maybe they used early ball-bearing systems with stone spheres, something similar to what was found at Pumapunku. These are speculative, but they're within the realm of physical possibility. Now we arrive at the final 10%, the part you wanted very lightly touched, the part some fringe groups bring up cautiously. There is a subset of researchers, small but vocal, who believe Baalbek represents evidence of a civilization older and more capable than anything currently recognized. Some tie this into stories of the Watchers, Nephilim, or other beings mentioned in ancient myths. Others link Baalbek to global megalithic patterns, structures so old and so aligned that they hint at a unified engineering blueprint. And yes, a fringe group occasionally brings up the Anunnaki, not as fact, not as proven history, but as an attempt to explain why such massive stones appear suddenly in the archaeological record, with no clear predecessors. They argue that ancient cultures preserved memories of powerful beings descending from the sky, teaching architecture, astronomy, and stoneworking. To them, Baalbek is part of that story, an outpost, a landing site, a symbolic stage. None of this is proven. None of it is accepted by mainstream archaeology. But the fringe keeps pointing to one simple fact. If the foundation stones at Baalbek had been discovered without the Roman temples on top, without the historical context, and without the assumptions we place on ancient civilizations, would we believe humans carved and moved them with simple tools? Or would we assume something else? Something we don't fully understand? The truth is simple. You don't need extraterrestrials to explain Baalbek. You need an ancient civilization far more capable than we currently believe existed, and whether that civilization was human, or something remembered as more than human, is a debate that will continue long after us. What we can say is this: Baalbek stands as one of the greatest unsolved engineering achievements in human history, a place where the timeline bends, a place where the stones don't match the story, a place where even modern machinery hesitates, because if humanity started over today, with everything we have, we still could not move the stones at Baalbek. But someone did, and until we can explain that, history is still missing its deepest chapter.